Hi everybody, it's Christina from Christina's Crafts, and this is another upcycle from a thrift store. Okay, so my daughter gave me this. She bought it at a thrift store, and I think it's really cute, but I think I'm going to try to upgrade it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is that was attached. I had pulled it off previous. I think I'm going to take this apart here and see what kind of base I'm working with. So I'm just gonna go around and take these staples out and then peel this off of here and see what we have. Okay, so these staples are not coming out of the back, so I just decided to start trying to cut this, and then I'm gonna just kind of try to rip it off because I cannot get that staple out of there. So let's see how well I can rip this off of here. Staple out. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this ripped off of here. Okay, so that took a lot of labor. So these staples are in there really good. So I'm just gonna have to leave that on there like that. So what my plan is I have this piece of scrapbook paper, which I'm gonna put on here, but it doesn't quite cover the whole thing. So I'm actually gonna paint the outside edges, I think with black, just so there's a little bit on the sides. And then I'm gonna paint the sides here with black also. And I am going to use this Waverly ink chalk paint. Okay, so I have my black chalk paint out, and I am just going to paint the edges here. There's not too much of it that's gonna stick out, so I'm just gonna get the edges painted, and then I'm gonna paint the sides of it. Okay, so I have my base all painted black. And the next thing that I wanna do is I wanna pop these little rivets off because I'm actually gonna paint this gray. So I'm gonna get these little rivets on here. I think that's what they're called, rivets. I'm gonna pop those off of there. Okay, with a little bit of prying, I did get those off. Now the next thing is to take this off because I don't want this on here, but everything on this piece is stapled so good. Like, I cannot even believe how well it's stapled on here. Okay, with a little bit of prying, I did get my flowers off of there, but I think I'm definitely gonna keep these because I could totally use these in a different project. So I'm just gonna take these little pieces and I'm actually gonna paint them with the black, because I'm gonna paint this part an elephant gray. So I want these to stand out a little bit, so. Okay, so I'm gonna use the elephant gray Waverly chalk paint, and I'm gonna paint this. And I'm gonna do this whole top part, and I'm gonna do all the sides. Okay, while I'm waiting for my gray piece to dry, I picked this up from Dollar Tree, and I'm actually going to take this apart. Okay, so in order to paint this, I'm gonna have to lift the petals up, I think. Well, I think they're gonna kind of come up a little bit anyways. They're not gonna lay completely flat, but I'm gonna need to get underneath all of these petals. But I am going to take the black chalk paint, and I am just gonna paint them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my flower painted black, and I'm gonna get a second coat on my little platform here because I can still see where the sign was before. Okay, so I'm still painting, and I just wanted to show you, you're gonna need to get inside of here because that part is gonna show regardless. So this is actually kind of messy, but I'm just kind of bend these. Don't bend too much. You don't want them to break. That would be catastrophic right now, especially considering I do not have another flower to use. Okay, I have 2 coats of paint on my little platform here, 2 coats of paint on my flower. Now I am just gonna take a little bit of the elephant gray paint, and I am going to dry brush on the flower just to kind of accent it a little bit. I'm gonna try to do around the edges, just randomly, wherever. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go on my flower and just dry brush around it with the elephant gray. Okay, so I dry brushed on my flower. It gives it a little bit more depth. I like that. But I think what I'm gonna do is maybe do a little bit more gray in the middle. I'm not gonna be able to get a perfect circle. This flower isn't exactly perfect, but I'm just gonna paint the center in here with gray. All right, now this is my favorite part, is putting everything back together. All right, so I have my paper here, which I cut. Now the hard part is gonna try to get it even. All right, got it open. And now I'm just gonna try to figure out placement. I think that looks pretty decent right there. And then I am just going to start on a side here and start gluing it down. So this is gonna take a little bit to get this all glued down on here and dried. So I'm gonna go ahead and Mod Podge underneath this whole piece of paper here and get this stuck down. Okay, I have my paper on there and my edges are not exactly even on all sides, but I'm really not gonna worry about that. I think that it's gonna look just fine. All right, so then I am gonna stick these little push pins back into place here that I took out earlier. Okay, I got them all back in. Then my next step is to somewhat try to center this in the middle of the board here. And then I am going to hot glue this to the paper. See if I can grab my glue gun here. So I am going to put a ton of hot glue on the back of this. And then try to line it up in the middle and place it down. All right, I have that on. Then the next thing is to put my flower on. Now I had that little mark right there. Oh gosh, excuse my paint fingers. I'm gonna wanna try to place the flower so it covers that. I kind of bent the petals back down a little bit because I didn't want them sticking up that much. So I am just going to hot glue this area to get it to stick and make sure that I cover that little staple hole that I had there. So I am just putting hot glue on my flower, just putting a ton on there. And then make sure that I get that over the hole here and kind of centered and push down. Okay, so I am almost done. This is just basically going to be a statement piece. There's not going to be any words or writing or anything on there. And I have these little pieces from some flowers that I bought from Joann's. And I am just going to kind of hot glue them and form them around the sides here in each corner. Like that. And then I'm just going to glue these up here a little bit. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing up here in this corner. That should be pretty good. And then I'll pick this one and glue him down. All right, and then there we go. That is my thrift store redo. I'm trying to get this all in the shot right now. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and I hope you subscribe. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.